Is World Economic Forum founder Klaus Schwab dead? Well, rumors circulating online that Schwab was rushed to the hospital over the weekend, of course. Others saying he's been dead already. Others saying, of course, online that he's been dead for years and it's just his head on an animatronic body or something like that.
Or it's one of the clones.
Yeah, it's one of the Klaus Schwab clones.
That's dead.
Yeah, but anyway, so these rumors were swirling. It apparently was tracked back to a satirical website and then it blew up online. And then don't worry, though, he's not dead. Just don't worry about it. He is not dead. He is perfectly fine, just doing fine, according to the Associated Press. Because if anyone's going to get an answer, it's going to be the Associated Press, which, of course, is a mouthpiece of the deep state. So a World Economic Forum spokesperson told the Associated Press that the claims are untrue as to his untimely death. Phew. Thank God. I was not sleeping well last night.
Untimely. He's like 90.
You heard me. I kept getting up last night. I was really worried about it.
Oh, is that why?
It was either that or I had to pee. Mm-hmm. So it was either I was worried about Klaus Schwab or I had to pee.
If something happened to him and we had to live in this like hellscape world of like being able to freely go where we wanted to go and eat what we want to eat and somebody not like probing our thoughts while we were at work. I mean, that's
you could eat real meat.
Frightening.
I know that
right.
that is a hellscape.
I don't want that.
You could live in a 16-minute city instead of a 15-minute city. So the story, we really dodged a bullet here. Let's be honest. Yeah, this guy's still alive. So the story comes, though, just weeks after their annual meeting where Schwab declared the World Economic Forum the trustees of the world. They run the show, he admitted publicly. They're the ones running everything, not the elected governments. We are the trustees of the world here at the World Economic Forum.
As trustees of the future, we are responsible for advancing a world which is richer in possibilities, more equitable in opportunities, and more secure in its foundations. Moreover, as leaders in government, business, and society, we bear a particular responsibility to rebuild trust in how we assume our own role as trustees.
So, yes, they run the world. But his fake death scenario, though, raises some serious questions as to who's next in line with this unelected body that runs the world. Who will run the world when Schwab does actually die? Well, it turns out Politico's Playbook journalists have been asking the very same thing, and they did quite a deep dive on this. Surprisingly, Politico looked deeply at this, the race to replace Klaus Schwab. So in January of last year, Politico interviewed over 20 different sources, almost 30, 29 different sources, inside and outside the World Economic Forum. And apparently, they're all concerned about Schwab's impending death. It's an interesting take on this. So Playbook spoke with 29 sources, including WEF corporate strategic partners, current and former staffers, members of the forum's committees, communities, nearly all of whom feared repercussions from talking to us. And many said Schwab is treating a global organization like a family heirloom. WEF strategic partners say they're getting antsy. Longtime current and former staffers say it's impossible to know what will happen, and therefore harder to plan a career. Schwab has a God complex, they say, and thinks he's in the fittest 0.1% in the world. But no one is immortal, said one U.S.-based veteran of the Davos conferences, adding, it's insane they don't have a succession plan in place. So apparently, though, they want to keep this all in the family. So if you're thinking, oh, will Justin Trudeau take over? He's one of the young, Schwab proteges. Will Jacinda Ardern, formerly of New Zealand, take over? Will Mark Rutte of the Netherlands take over? No,
he's going to NATO. He's going to go ahead of NATO.
He's going to NATO. So who's going to take over? But apparently it's going to be kept in the family. And WEF's head of media, Jan Zoff, what's your name? Jan Zoff, insisted it's the WEF's board of trustees who will decide on a successor for Schwab. But the statutes also guarantee that it's the Schwab family seats at the table via Klaus, or at least one member of his immediate family. Schwab's daughter, Nicole, is a trustee. His son, Olivier, is a member of the managing board. His wife, Hildy, runs a foundation connected to the World Economic Forum. The Schwabs also hold a veto over whether the WEF can be shut down. So the Schwab family will retain control.
Wait, what? They can't even shut it down without their...
No.
There's no kill switch?
There's no kill switch. They have complete control. Isn't this amazing? They have complete control of it. So the Schwab family will retain control. It's too powerful to turn over to the board or other trustees. Meanwhile, something curious is happening at the World Economic Forum. On policy, Klaus Schwab and the WEF over the past few months have been pushing AI incredibly strong. Over the past few months, we've noticed a trend at the WEF. They're really pushing artificial intelligence. So we've gone down a bit of a rabbit hole trying to look back and understand, why are they trying to push all of this so hard? Like, what is the connection here? What are the pieces that are adding up? And back in 2021, they launched this, the World Economic Forum launching the new global initiative to advance the promise of responsible artificial intelligence. Responsible artificial intelligence could contribute over $14 trillion to the global economy. Of course, so follow the money, but also bringing together hundreds of companies, governments, civil society organizations, academic institutions to accelerate the adoption of AI in the global public interest. Members of the alliance will work together to identify and implement the best available tools and practices for using AI ethically and maximizing its benefits to all of its members of society. Maximizing its benefits. What could maximizing its benefits be? Oh, well, they do tell us. One of which is to make sure that companies could save a boatload of money by getting rid of an entire workforce so it could be replaced by artificial intelligence. So keeping people at home, right? The idea is we don't want you to work. We want you to stay home. We want you to live in your 15-minute city. So one of their big pieces of this is getting rid of employment and offshoring it. Additionally, in addition to this, it's also combating misinformation and disinformation, right? If we can have all of these companies relying on AI to target and go after, like the thought police, right? To go after what you're thinking, we can integrate this into all of our companies and into civil society and into our governments, so that we will have AI out there searching and making sure that you're safe and making sure that your thoughts are not being manipulated. Make sure your speech is World Economic Forum approved, right? So here's their AI promise that they write about right on their website. AI holds the promise of making organizations 40% more efficient by 2035 by unlocking an estimated $14 trillion in new economic value. So that means, when you say more efficient, what do you think that means? That means laying people off, right? That means cutting the fat. That means replacing jobs with AI. That's exactly what it means. And also at the end of this little piece here on your screen, it says this new initiative, the multi-stakeholder collaboration platform designed to accelerate the development and adoption of such tools globally in industry sectors. The alliance brings together over 100 different leading companies, government and organizations, nonprofits, and academics united in their commitment to maximizing AI's societal benefits while minimizing its risk. So one way that we now see this rolling out is sort of they're hiding how nefarious AI can actually be. And Amazon caught red-handed doing exactly that. So they're following the World Economic Forum's plan, which is to lay off individuals under the auspices of AI and then offshore these jobs to India. So this was an amazing story this week. Amazon has their just walk out policy. Have you guys you guys are up in Washington State. Have you guys gone to one of these Amazon Fresh stores where you just walk out? And the way that it works, so apparently it uses AI. That's the thing. It's using AI to scan you, right? So it was a cashierless tech in all these Fresh stores. And it was supposed to be sort of the cornerstone of their grocery strategy. Well, now they're phasing it out because, well, they found out that it's all fake. They were using fake AI. They said it was all AI. It's not. In fact, there were thousands of Indians, yes, in the country of India, they're not AI, they're literally watching you on cameras. There were all of these cameras on every friggin' angle, seeing what you're picking up and holding. You've got butter in your hand, and then there's an Indian going, that's butter, and then confirming it so that they're going to put the price in. It was not AI, it was Indians.
That's interesting.
I mean, that is actually, AI could,
Go ahead.
the I could stand for Indian, so
There you go.
automatic Indian.
Actually, Indian.
But I was going to say,
Actually
like,
Indian.
they didn't close, like, they had Whole Foods here, which Amazon, I believe, owns, and they closed some of those down. So I never saw one of those up here in this area. I'm sure there probably is one around, but I never saw one.
Go ahead, Philip.
Sorry, I was going to mention that because I like several years back, I worked at an Amazon warehouse, and they actually had cameras on your workstation watching what you were putting away, and there were teams in India that were reviewing it. And so if like an alarm went off, they could come up and they would be like, well, they saw that you put this thing in the wrong place, and it was just like there was like you're being monitored by teams
Wow.
of people in India.
It's unbelievable. So you had this walkout tech that was supposed to be the
In case
future
you
of
accidentally
AI.
put something in your own pocket, that's what they're looking for.
No, it wasn't that. They had anti-theft cameras there too. No, it was literally for inventory management. Like if you put an item in the wrong bin, it would be lost. So they were actually watching where you would put things so that if you made a mistake, the computer would catch that you made a mistake, and it was somebody in India reviewing the footage to find out what mistake you made.
Oh, wow.
So, as Catherine Austin Fitz writes or talks about, she says this is all part of this AI scam because we're hearing this over and over and over again that we hear about AI, it's supposed to be our great savior, but then there's like thousands of people behind the scenes that have to come in and clean up the mess.
This you keep running into this with AI. It's not economic, and it depends on thousands of people fixing the mess.
Right.
And what the AI lovers will tell you is, oh, we're just working it out. We're working it out. We're working it out. But
Yeah.
it's really funny because you now have these little Amazon Fresh places in airports, and I'll come through and I'll literally walk around to avoid them because they have the most creepy feeling. So I can't explain it, but it's just like, ooh, creepy. And it wouldn't surprise me if part of that creepy family, feeling came from the fact you got all these poor folks in India just watching us.
Poor them indeed.
I mean, they're like, oh, you're buying like an $8 thing of whatever, and I'm here in India making no money at all and basically starving.
Yeah. It's
Just
not
like,
that fun to watch
can you
people
imagine?
shop unless it's those dudes who go around Costco and tell you what seed oils are in all the food. 'Cause then I can watch that all day.
That's what she does watch all day. So I'll just get you out of here on this story, which is that AI also, this idea, the promise of AI is that we'll add 1 million tons of copper into the mix by 2030. And the amount of environmental waste that goes into doing this is exactly the opposite of what the World Economic Forum touts, right? They're climate alarmists. They want us to live a certain way. They're telling you how to live, and they're pushing AI in the biggest way possible, but they're not talking about the side effects and the spillover effects of AI and how demanding it is. Having to build all of these massive data centers, so you're driving around, you have to it's all it is a data center just for AI, just so Indians can watch what we're buying at an Amazon store.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is one of the big pieces, cardinal pieces right now of the World Economic Forum as they move into the next year, the next 2 years. This is a big piece. So whoever takes over for Klaus Schwab, this is going to be a big piece of their strategy going into the next decade or so. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. YouTube thinks that you'll actually like this next video right here. It's personalized based on your own viewing habits. So if you watch the video, please leave a comment. Let us know what you think about it. And we will see you next time, everyone.